we're back. We're back again, and I see actually a lot of OGs coming back as well. Mr. Alex Switch, good morning to you, sir. Good as always to see you. I even see Volley Fib. Holy shit, man. It's been years, I feel like, but hopefully all is well, man, and good to see you as well. I even see old people. Grandpa. I assume that he is also old, and we also have several other grandpas here, I'm sure. Anyways, plenty, well, actually not so much new things to talk about today, to be honest. But, you know, the market does move, and of course, it is a holiday, more or less, for markets, as U.S. markets are not going to be opening up later today. It is the holiday of Juneteenth, which I'm still not really sure what Juneteenth is, to be honest, but, and I'm not sure that anyone really knows, to be honest, but it sounds cool, and it means that everyone gets a day off, so more time to watch some good old YouTube. Anyway, did you know that's a holiday? It's a holiday. Yeah, it's a holiday. It's a holiday. It's a great holiday. Fucking buy the dip. Good morning, man. What's up, Big Connect? Yeah, Big Connect. Speaking of OGs, man, that is still among the craziest things I've seen. What? It's Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth. Yeah, well, we don't take days off, but you lazy Finns do. Anyways, it's a free day. It's a free day indeed. We're all free. We're all free enough to watch on YouTube, I suppose. It's when the blacks... Wait, what? Oh, holy shit. Okay. I was just randomly reading a comment, and it said some things that I did not really want to repeat. What? Oh, don't do it. Don't do it indeed. Don't do it indeed. In fact, you know what I should do is turn on this this fan here. I can already feel myself heating up. I can already feel my blood pressure rising, but that's not good. It's going to make my hairs fall out. Very, 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 very bad in Crypto Clan World. Good morning to you, man. Edgar Silva, good morning, sir. King Cosmic as well. Carlos Rangel, The Mist, Ben's Chair. Been enjoying our conversations in the Discord, by the way, sir. It's been actually a really good time in the Discord recently, despite the market being very slow. The conversations in the Discord have been ranging from all sorts of crazy places, and I've actually been really enjoying it. And by the way, if you didn't know, you can join in the Discord. It's 100% free. There's a link in the description below, and you can interact with all sorts of characters. We have all sorts of people. It's fucking cool, man. It's super fucking cool, especially when the market's boring. I mean, there ain't much else to do, right? Whale Talk, good morning. Yeah, nice catch indeed. He almost got me. Sometimes people almost get me with these comments that I just read out of the side of my eye. I'm like, hey, what the fuck did I just say? Yes, that's exactly right. Mexican Righteous, that's exactly right. And Dad Rack is, yeah, man. But here's the thing, you know, looking at shifting the focus to Bitcoin, to the corns, you know, very little's happened during this week. And like I've been saying, I really don't expect anything super significant to be happening this week. When I say super significant, I mean not above even 109 and not below about 102 in the short term. I think that things are still setting up for likely a break next week. And I still favor downside overall, but looking at the bi-weekly time frame, it's like, I don't think that we're going to get a move any lower than what we've already seen this week, and I don't think that we're going to get a move higher than what we've seen this week as well. The bi-weekly time frame kind of showing the pace, and once this week does close, it will close the bi-weekly time frame and we get a new open. That's the time frame. So the next 2 weeks, basically taking us into the very end of June, is really when I would be expecting an actual break of this range. Like I said, I do favor the downside. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right on that, but you know, the pivots to be getting bullish on, in my opinion, are super, super obvious here, super, super clean, and that effectively is Monday's high. Look, as long as Bitcoin's below Monday's high, it's hard to be getting bullish about none of this shit, but as you know, as long as Bitcoin's above, what is it, last Friday's low, which was 102,750. Yeah, 102,750. You know, I'm not really looking for any sort of like range to break in this case. And of course, you know, if Bitcoin does break out to the downside, I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at mid 90s most likely. If Bitcoin breaks out to the upside, it's just going to turn into a trending move towards 120, 130, whatever it might be. But you know, what does make me maybe reconsider those beliefs is that it does seem like the general attitude in this market right now is bearish. And of course, the good old saying goes, you know, not everyone can be right, and generally that is true, but I guess we'll see. You know, we'll actually see at the end of the day. Opinions don't necessarily correlate to positions because it's very easy to type something out on the internet. It's a lot more difficult to actually put a position alongside of it. So We'll see what people are actually doing. Again, I do think that any sort of move is realistically coming next week, not this week. This week is, again, this week's mostly over. You know, today is again a holiday for markets, and then tomorrow is going to be, well, tomorrow I guess has potential, right? But I don't think that that's going to, materialize on a date like that. Maybe a test to one of the sides of those boundaries, but again, I think getting a real break here is going to be difficult. In fact, I even think, looking into July might be even more of a reasonable proposition, at least if you are looking for downside. To the upside, if Bitcoin is going to move to the upside, I actually do think it'd be a little more likely to happen before the end of this month. But with the way that things are shaping up right now, I think that it is unlikely. Now that I recognize that the price action pivots are actually painting the monthly as a rising channel here, and we can see that the bottom side boundary of this one is coming in, rising, of course, from month to month. But as of right now, if Bitcoin were to approach it this month, it'd be like $81,000. Next month, it moves all the way up to 83.5. The month after that, 86, 87. So perhaps it does come into focus over time, but I don't think Bitcoin's going to be breaking below that on any sort of major downside move anyway. So, it's kind of difficult here just because there's limited edge on both sides, in my opinion. I don't think that we're going to see like a major breakout nor a major breakdown. What's up, Mr. Bitcoin Quick and Dirty? Good morning to you as well. Hoy says penis. Penis? Oh, penis. Got me, bastard. Lil Baller says probabilistic. If anything is getting more probabilistic, it is changing the whole nature of probable. Insanity clause. Exactly. I think that makes sense, but also it doesn't. So you know what? I'm going to say, I believe you, and I'm convinced. Do Finns celebrate midsummer? Actually, yes, they do. But this year it's going to be in the rain. And yes, you actually heard that right. It's fucking been raining the last 2 weeks here in Finland. We haven't seen a sunny day. We've seen like 2 sunny summer days, like literally 2 sunny summer days. And it didn't even get above 20 degrees Celsius. I'm not fucking joking. Like, I'm actually not joking. This is not an exaggeration. This is not, pulling the strings or anything to make a funny joke. It is actually that shitty. It's actually that bad. It's no wonder people here are so fucking miserable. Blackwatch is watching you. Whoa. Hey, Crown, my cock is really hard right now. Yes, I understand your cock is very hard, sir. Would you like someone to suck you off? Like, Crown, aren't you a millionaire? No, I'm a quadrillion billionaire gazillionaire. Got way more money than that, man. I'm kidding. Bears might be right after being wrong for 2 months straight. Yeah, I mean, since early April, things have been straight up, and when things have been straight up, I mean, I don't think it's too unreasonable to be looking for a bit of a pullback. I was certainly looking for a pullback to happen, much earlier than something like this, especially in terms of timing. But hey, at the end of the day, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Still think though, market more or less likely to pull back here. But here's the thing, man, after who said that? I forgot who said it, but after 2 months of straight up, like, Bitcoin can afford a downside move and still be within an uptrend. I mean, you got higher lows all the way down to mid to low 80s if it wanted to get there. I don't think it's going to, but if it did, I mean, it's not still very likely an uptrend. Gen X Crypto says, I saw a tweet today on X stating Finland is the most racist country in the world and also the happiest. True or not? Both of these stats I would humbly disagree with after living here for 6-7 years now. What I can say is that Finland certainly is not the most happy country. In fact, most people here are massively depressed or very, very disillusioned with life. The weather does not help, but I can certainly tell you that statistically, Finland has an extremely, extremely high proportion of the population on like antidepressants or something similar to that. So, if you're thinking the happiness meter is measured in all smiles, it's not. What it is measured in, because I actually have looked into this, because it was really bugging me for a long time, what the happiness measurement actually is measured in. This is so diabolical. This is so misleading. But what it's actually measured in, what it puts the most weight on, is access to government services or like, welfare services, basically. So, if you basically there's no homeless people here. At the same time, there's a shit ton of alcoholic people who are unable to be alcoholic because, well, the government gives them homes to live in and also free places and free syringes to shoot up whatever fucking drug they want. So it's really, really going well. As far as most racist, definitely not the most racist country in the world. Holy shit, man. The Finns in general are so scared of sounding remotely racist that they hold back on saying basically anything. Like for me, they don't look at me as white, by the way. I was told this by Elsa's friends. I'm not considered white by Finnish people. And so they are extra careful around me not to say something that might be construed as like slightly racist in some way that it wouldn't even be racist to begin with. So they would rate themselves in such ways, just like they would rate themselves as extremely wasteful and extremely bad for the environment, where Finland's impact on the environment in the world, I'm sure, is less than 0.01%. I mean, holy shit, these people are fucking moronic. Elsa's dad is pretty racist. I will say that. Like, that is true. That is very true. You can hear the hate in his voice. Yes, I have a strong disdain. Government services, California should be the happiest. California would be very, very happy, but even California is not outdone by Finland. But yeah, man. The thing with Finland, man, is fuck. I should not get into this right now. I'm not going to get into this right now. Jesus Christ. King Cosmic says sounds pretty awesome, to be honest. Fair enough. If that's what you want, there's a place for you. That's what I really think should happen in the world. No more of these elections and bullshit like that. There should just be designated areas where, hey, if you want to be a capitalist free market person, go live over here. If you want to be a communist socialist person, go live over here. And you can have your utopias on both sides and everything in between. And you can choose where the fuck you want to live instead of trying to, force whatever fucking, country you live in to adopt your beliefs. At the end of the day, man, just fucking let people do what they want to the maximum. That's fine. And we'll see who wins at the end of the day. We'll see. We shall see. I just typed happiest European country and Finland came out as #1. Yeah. That would be news to most Finns, man. That would be news to most Finns. Thank you for your detailed reply, Sir Crown. No problem, man. That's what you come here for. Not magic internet money bullshit. We're talking about the happiest countries, the happiest of the happies. Are Bitcoiners going to be happy? Are crypto enthusiasts about to be happy? Shitcoiners are about to be very happy, right? We have our real Bitcoin dominance chart right here, looking like it wants to jump off the cliff yet again. Whenever someone tells me about alt season, I just go to this chart and I'm like, don't think so, man. I think you had it. I think it was right here. And all alt seasons become worse and worse. It's just the way of things. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. Here's 2017, humongous, massive altcoin pump. All of the ICOs went to the moon and beyond. Then 2021 comes around. Not as good of a pump, but there were some big winners. There was the DeFi sector. There was the NFTs. And then there was, well, I think that was mostly layer ones or layer twos, whatever the fuck it was. And then we had 2024, the meme coins and the AIs. And again, a nice pump right here, but the downturn remains. The trend is indeed your friend, but not to shitcoiners of the world. And it looks to me like we have a fresh breakdown here, breaking the lows of the last couple of years. In fact, going all the way back to June of 2023. Bitcoin, no, not Bitcoin, but the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins, is freshly breaking down relative to Bitcoin. So that is your real shitcoin dominance chart, to be honest. And wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come back down to the 2021 lows at some point. But goddamn, man, it's been brutal. It's been brutal here for the shitcoiners of the world. I wonder at what point they capitulate if they haven't already. That's the real question of the day. Zachary H says, as someone living in California, I'm big, sad, behind enemy lines. Can't wait to escape the land of homeless poverty and poo in the streets. I actually grew up in around San Francisco, and I can attest to that. Although I definitely left much before any of that stuff came out. But then again, I went to fucking Eugene, Oregon. Like, it's probably even more so there. But from there, I went to Chicago, so no problem. Well, less of a problem, I suppose. Any big city is going to have those sort of beliefs anyways. It is what it is, man. What happened to the bull moon, Mr. Crown? It's a crazy idea that a strategy that has a nearly 50% strike rate might fail, but it appears that a strategy with a 50% strike rate might fail? Oh my fucking God! The moons are bullshit, bro! Oh, fuck this shit. I'm done. My blood pressure is rising too much, guys. My hair is going to fall out, okay? I can't talk about this shit. Look, if you're a redact who does not understand probabilities, you're not going to do well on this channel. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that you don't understand probabilities, by the way. You probably do. But many people do not, unfortunately. And they assume that even like a 50% strike rate means, dude, this must happen, bro. What the fuck? It's like, you're an actual idiot. You're an actual idiot, and you can also vote, and you can also drive a car, and this is very concerning. Very concerning, but hey, that's the world that we live in, and unfortunately, we can't change it because that would probably be too authoritarianistic, which would also be bad. Anyways, rosemary oil or something. Yes, escaped Canada. Yeah, lol. Peter Underwood, good morning to you, man. He says, lol, Elsa, I was driving down the motorway in the UK last week, and there was lots of traffic in the slow lane. Turns out there was a guy on a horse and cart going about 15 kilometers per hour. Yeah, Eugene is a funny name for a town. It is a funny name, as well as a very funny place. I will tell you that, man. That place is... It's a portal to a different universe, I think. But really fun college town. I will say that. Very fun college town. They just need to follow St. Anna's free knowledge bombs. That's right. But they're gonna have trouble with that one, man, because with all of the fake outs from the lizard shadow council, it can be very, 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 very deceiving to any newcomer. But the OGs know what he really means, which is whatever the last one is the right one. Whereas the next move says fucking buy the dip. I don't think that we're seeing the next move anytime soon, or at least this week. But I do think it will be to the downside, but we shall see. We shall see. We even have a little bit of hopium here. I don't know about hopium, but daily time frame, if you want to be a pattern bra, is a symmetrical triangle, and Bitcoin's holding on for dear life to the bottom boundary of this one, but closing below what 104 500, 104 even, especially that would resolve that one to the downside today. 5-day time frame is also going to be resolved today, and that one's going to also have a chance to break what would be a rising channel. Again, a higher probability to break down. More importantly, it does have an implied target, I should say, somewhere to like the mid 90s. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. At the end of the day, these are all just setups. But like I've said many times, the area to get, in my opinion, very bullish on Bitcoin is super, super obvious here. If Bitcoin can reclaim the Monday high, if he can even just trade above that, that's probably good enough for me, man. I'd be very, very bullish for a move, 120, 130-ish region overall. Stops along the way, of course, but, it takes its time. Naturally takes its time. Fucking, my beefs are coming up. You know what I eat for breakfast? No one asked, but I'm going to tell you. You're going to listen. You came to my stream. I'm going to fucking verbally vomit all of my issues on you guys. But what I eat for breakfast every morning is 2 burger patties plus 4 eggs. It's beautiful, man. It's really, really good. And then I wash it down with some creatine and salt water. I love it, man. I see over here on X, we got pesto. Yes, indeed, sir. Mr. Hodley, Bitcoin, Zika, Finland, 24-hour sun. It is, you do get 24 hours of sun if it is sunny, which is a big if. But yeah, it does happen. Other years have actually been much better. Crown, any thoughts on Chill House? I like it. I don't like house as much anymore, man. I don't really know if I even like electronic music as much anymore, but the old OG trance tracks, those ones are always special, and dubstep can always be good. Yeah, no carbs for Crown. Not while I'm recovering, man. That's highly inflationary. Not good for recovering. Still in the ground beef. Yeah, and then I eat another 400 grams of ground beef for dinner. I love it, with another couple eggs. I fucking love it. But I do have some honey chicken in between there for lunch, and that's what I do every day. It's very, very nice. Try it out. Don't try it out, man. If you're not used to low carb, it's gonna make you feel like absolute shit. Yes, sir. Want to swap for a month? I would love to, man. I think Greece is just the most magical place of all time. I really do. And Greece is probably the happiest country in Europe. Holy shit, man. Do you remember what people were like down there? They were fucking friendly and nice. Super friendly. It was great, man. Avocado is great too with meat. Yeah, I probably should add that in because yeah, that should probably be really, really good for me. That's a good comment. That's a good comment, bro. Let's see. Gen X Crypto says, Sir Crown, have you seen Ben Cowan's analysis? I actually don't tune into him, not because I don't like him, because he doesn't like me, so I don't like him. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I've seen that. I think I've even spoken about that on my channel many years ago. there seems to be some validity with that. And again, while I do think Bitcoin's more likely to break out to the downside here, I'm not calling the cycle over or anything like that just yet. Like I said, if Bitcoin were to come down, even on a weekly time frame here, you got higher lows all the way down to low 80s at this point. So it remains an uptrend until proven otherwise. But would it scare a lot of people if it did something like this, where it comes down to even just like 95, 96, puts in a higher low, and then tries an upside move? I think that would scare the shit out of people. But, everything, at least in the way that I look at it, points towards higher probability of a downside move. Looking at the weekly time frame, weekly stochastic momentum is about to freshly cross down below 111.5. So Bitcoin effectively needs to print new all-time highs in order to avoid that. The 5-day time frame is closing later tonight. This one will remain very obviously down as long as Bitcoin's below 110. The 10-day time frame is actually still positioned to the upside, but getting into some critical territories here where we have found tops in the past. The 3-day time frame is going to continue down as it has been below 107. The 2-day time frame is going to have a nice downside move after if it finishes the day below 108, and then the daily continues down here as well below 106.6. So you basically see all higher term time frames in concert with each other, in unison, pointed in the same direction. If I have to bet on a direction, it's obviously going to be in that same direction just based off of that. Of course, we do have other setups over here too. If I could bring back the 3 EMA versus 21 EMA, anytime that we've seen these two movement averages cross, there's been an 80% probability of coming down to at least a green movement average, which as of right now is rising, but it is at 101,300. So I do look at that as kind of like a natural area of interest for at least a short-term move, maybe in this next 7 to 10 day spread. Again, if you want the back test for that, it's right here. I'm not saying that this is a profitable strategy. It is not, but it does have a very, very high probability to hit that green movement average once that cross does occur, which did occur way back here on the 31st of May. By the way, if you're looking for this tool, it's a Quant Prime service that is in the teachable link in the description below. You can try it out for 7 days free, as well as pretty much everything else. Just once though, just once. If you abuse it, we will abuse you. You've already been warned. On top of that, we have the 10-day time frame over here on the HPDR ranges, and we can see as of right now, and again, keeping in mind that this one is closing later tonight alongside the daily and the 5-day, is working as a rejection of the 38.2 level, and more importantly, we are now seeing a close over closure with declining volatility represented by the BBWP indicator. And whenever we see that, you're almost always guaranteed at some point a test to the median. And this is honestly the biggest cheat code that I have for this market right now is this particular setup on basically any higher term time frame. Once you see volatility start to decline, price is going to trade more or less sideways in a range, and then at some point it will come and test the median. This works both the upside and the downside. It's extremely high probability, but of course it does take a long time to play out. For example, the last one that we saw was on this move to the downside right here, a brief explosion of volatility followed by a contraction phase, literally right on the low. Just on that first low, it did contract just a little bit. And what do you know? From there, it did put in a nice move to the median over the next 3 bars, which 3 bars on a 10-day time frame is a fucking month, man. This takes a long time. But same thing over here, right? On the move to the upside, we see volatility go into contraction phase officially on this bar right here. It spends this one actually happens rather fast, 20 days going sideways, and then yes, it does test the median, even tests a little bit below there as well. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, because as long as that condition is not met, and as long as the median is lower, which it could get pulled up on today's closure, it probably does at least a little bit, but that's still going to be like a magnet for price action and a high area of interest. For Bitcoin. On top of that, what else do we have? We already went over stochastic momentum. Of course, we got the same patterns for the pattern bros out there as well. 5-day rising channel plus 3-day, which was resolved a couple days ago, or I think it was yesterday actually, and then the 2-day time frame, which was resolved a few days prior, and then the daily time frame, which is actually working on its own variation, coming in at the same pivoted level, about 104,500, 104.4 region. So, closing below those levels today probably does get another test back down to 102.5 region, but I don't think Bitcoin's again going to break down this week. I think if Bitcoin is going to break down, we're probably looking into next week. And again, if Bitcoin is gonna, just fool us all, or at least fool me, then I would be I would look at anything above Monday's high at 109 as very bullish and, likely to not just print new all-time highs, but, decently new all-time highs. MetaSignals is looking higher. I think that was a very short-term setup, but yeah, I mean, they can fail. I know it's a crazy idea. But I'll show you over here. Yeah, they do have a setup. This was a very low-term time frame, 45-minute time frame, and has it hit target number one? Target number one, 105.6. When did this one fire off? It fired off at 104.750. Yeah, I think that this one's probably going to fail, but yeah, I think that this one's going to fail, to be honest. But yeah, again, it does have a very high probability for target number one, 76.5%. But that's not the same thing as 100%, unfortunately. But it is true. It is there. So yeah. Talking uncertainties about probabilities. Yes, I'm certain about the probabilities, but the probabilities themselves are not certain about what exactly is going to happen. It is what it is, sir. And we got a new moon mid next week. Oh, dear Lord. We have a... it's going to be very problematic. Very problematic. Because that's what drives the market. I don't make the rules. It is what it is. Volume and Han Solo? Wait, what? What does that mean, sir? 4 hour looks like a bullish reset. No. Be gentle, please, Crown. I think you have found a picture of Jesus toast. That's a nothing, sir. And if anything, it's a downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low. Could this be our next lower high? How could that be a bullish reset, sir? Why are you looking for a bullish reset on a 4 hour time frame when every time frame on the higher term time frames, which are certainly much more powerful than a 4 hour, for example, a daily, which is 6 times more powerful than a 4 hour, let alone the fucking 5 day and the weekly, which is significantly more than that. Why would we be looking at a 4 hour time frame to reverse anything? Because the 4 hour is the best. And that is why. An ABC correction. I don't follow Elliott Wave. I don't really care about Elliott Wave, to be honest, but I think it is a correction. I think that much is obvious. I don't know what the ABC part means, though. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's the problem with Elliott Wave. You can always add another fucking letter. What's up, Lazy XPT on Twitter? And Bob Blah Blah says, yum, Jesus Toast. Jesus Toast, very, very good, man. Very, very good. Buy when there's blood in the streets. I don't think there's blood in the streets, man. I think there's a lot of people who are very rich right now because Bitcoin has been basically vertical since December of 2022. Yeah. If you're bloody in this range right here, I got a very harsh message for you. You're a fucking idiot because you are over leveraged like way too much. You done goofed, and the market is going to be very unforgiving. Again, sorry for the harsh words. I don't mean them to be offensive, but I do mean them to hurt. No, wait. You know where I'm trying to go with this. Kidding. What's up, Philson? Good morning to you, ma'am. No one knows what no one knows. Of course, no one can know what the fuck's actually going to literally happen. Like, that's why we use probabilities. That's the closest you can get. This is what always bothers me about like people who are newer to trading or technical analysis. They're like, no one knows what's going to happen. Just why even try? It's like, you fucking moron. Like, do you just make your decisions based off of nothing? Like, nothing? Really? It's like, Jesus, you fucking idiot. Are you still in pain? Yeah, my neck is very stiff, man. It's okay, I'll explain to you how they do the procedure. And this is probably going to make most people who were ever considering this not want to do it. But they give you a couple pills so that you're a little bit loopy, but you are awake during this whole thing. You're completely conscious. You hear everything. You feel everything. It's not necessarily like painful, but what they do is you lie flat down on your face, and then the surgeon gets behind you and rapes you. No, he takes out some sort of a knife or scalpel or whatever the fuck they use. I don't know. Can't see that part, obviously, because my face is the other way. But they cut out a horizontal strip in the back of your head, going from almost ear to ear, and then they take all those little hairs and then they plant them on your head like they're fucking tree seeds. But you're awake during this whole thing, man. So you're feeling them like pull and pull and pull at your fucking scalp, and you're like hearing the knife go through and all of the sounds and all of the blood that accompanies that. It's pretty crazy, honestly. But yeah, doesn't hurt. I mean, when you're running on the paid meds, but yeah, and anyways, they stitch it up after that, and they have to stitch it up by pulling the neck, you know, back into each other, and then they just fucking staple it in there. So it's that part, yeah, is kind of annoying because you don't really want to like turn your head too fast or anything like this because well, you're you know, you're like tearing the fucking stitches out, man. Yeah, it's pretty pretty wild. What's up, Sam Fragosi? 50% up, 50% down. Yep, I like it. Even with that, actually, to be fair, like even when you do have an edge that is 50-50, you know, just 50% strike rate, there is an edge in that because your risk to reward is probably not 50-50. If you can find a risk to reward that is not 50-50 alongside having a 50% probability to work out, you could actually create a winning strategy from that. Damn, I would get behind that. Wait, what, Filson? Said something about going down on PPs and... Alex Switch says next time noise cancellation headphones with music on. Yeah, probably should have done that, but this is actually my second time doing the procedure, man. It is what it is, but we'll see. If my hair falls out again, I'll just be bald and Elsa has to deal with it, or I'll get a fucking toupee and look like Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny. That would be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun. Anyways, I should probably do some of these super chats. We just kind of blazed through Bitcoin right there, but I mean that's really the crux of it. There's not a whole hell of a lot of new things here. We're just waiting for these next major closures. Like I said, next week I think is the week if anything's going to really happen. Steven Shipkin, I should have guessed he is 100% first as always, and he's looking at Doggy daily weekly. So today is I expect to see, if the market is going to be bearish, I expect to see altcoins looking very bad today. It looks like Doggy Coin is still following my LARP lines, and they're actually at the bottom of my LARP line right now. We're very, very close to it. But I actually do think it's going to reach a little bit lower. I don't think it's going to make new lows below the April lows, but I think it's going to go a little bit closer to that, maybe let's say like 15 cents or so. It should be a bounce area, but you are seeing momentum turn down freshly as long as this thing's below 21 cents, which I don't think it's going to reclaim by the end of the week. But hey, you know, crazier things have happened, I guess. 10-day time frame will continue up. 5-day time frame also nose diving here below 23 cents. 3-day time frame all the way down 17 cents pivot. 2-day time frame 18 cents pivot. Daily time frame 17. So all of them are really, really beat up. It's not going to take too much to get this thing on a bounce. If it does bounce in the short term, I'd be looking at 18.5 cents to maybe 19.25 cents. But you know, this thing is heavily bearish in the short, medium term, as long as you're below 20.5 cents or last Wednesday's high. And like I said, you know, I do think it's a little more likely to get closer to the April lows, but probably not make new lows. And it should set up for a nice bounce. If you do want to be a pattern bra over here as well, this would be a falling wedge, and those do have a higher probability to break out to the upside than the downside. So at some point, you know, probably going to move in that direction. If I had to guess, it'll look something like this if and when it does break out. So I'm going to assume that it breaks out somewhere over here. You know, that's going to be pointed towards an actual upside reversal, which would be rather impressive, you know, getting back above the May highs. But first things first, we need to see it actually close and break above there. It's really not a good idea to front run these things, especially on altcoins that, you know, have a lot of great technology behind them. Steven Shipkin also wants to look at Doggy versus Bitcoin. This one might be very bad, though. I'm just going to preface this analysis by saying, I don't think so. LARP lines are, maybe even the LARP lines are a little bit too, forgiving here. You're already around your last year's lows from February. The thing is, it's really not going to take too much for this thing to bounce, but I would treat it as very bearish as long as you're below last week's high. But yeah, it's been beat up so much that it truly would not take too much to get it on a bounce, but as long as you're below last week's high, or let's say 188 Satoshis, like it is a pretty nasty downtrend. I'd just be looking for rejections there. If it can reclaim that region, maybe gets a nice pump, one-off pump above 200. But this, I mean, it's just lower and lower, man. This is not good. This is not good. It's not good. Your best bet here is just the fact that you're going to get a pity bounce because you're at your prior, multi-year lows here, which like that's not a strong signal, but a lot of the time you will just bounce by the very minimal virtue of getting down to a level like that. So yeah. And then Emmanuel is next. He says Xavier on daily. Okay. Interesting. There's another one I've never heard of, but it does exist. So there's that. The correct one has an 8-month history. Okay, well, it's definitely not this one because that's not 8 months. I'm going to guess it's this garbage right here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Now we got some 8 months of amazing price action. Actually, not bad in the short term, to be fair. Did make new all-time highs just even a few days ago, but I don't know. To me, this looks like you're below off top right here. Double extremes on daily BBWP. Momentum turning down on your daily, probably going to spill into your 5-day as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing end the day below 1 cent, or sorry, close to 1 cent. Yeah, I think you're going to go into a correction here. Like, call me crazy for being a little bit skeptical of an altcoin that goes absolute fucking lunar, you know, in this fashion, and thinking that maybe, just maybe, it probably doesn't do the same thing in the future. But that'd be my general take on it. You know, if I had to call from here, you're going to bounce around a little bit, something like this. But I think you're going to unravel most, if not all, of this rally, to be honest with you. But I'm sure it's going to change the world. So hodl for forever. Take out loans against it as well. It's a great idea. Kidding. For anyone for anyone who's new here, who is new here. Dad Racket says, watch Demon Slayer because of you. So good. Yeah, man, that was fucking cool. Then watch Vinland Saga, was different. I only got through a few episodes actually. I didn't finish it, man. No, I didn't. I've actually been watching, I've been rewatching the prequel series of Star Wars recently. I don't know why, but every once in a while I just have this urge to watch these classic movie series, man. All right, let's see who else we got. We got Tron Jeremy says STX short term and monthly. I already can tell you that this one's looking pretty fucking bad because I have it on my list. Look, not good, man. Not good. Like, it's going to get a bounce at some point, but I think that this thing is a lot more likely to come down another 50% than it is to go up 50% from here anytime soon. Yeah. Follow the trend, man. As long as you're below the April highs, this thing is heavily bearish, like heavily bearish on any time frame that matters for actual movements and actual trend. But in the short term, can you get a bounce here? Yeah, sure. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing bounce up to like 75 cents if it wants to. But all higher term time frames bearish. If it does get a bounce, it's probably just going to be another lower high. Yeah, I would generally be looking to the downside on this one. Maybe you get a bounce before it breaks down. I don't know. That's not a game that I'm willing to play, but all bounces should be lower highs at this point. Yeah, below a buck basically. Super awful chart. Starboys is always great. Solo leveling is the new hype. Yeah, I've heard a lot about solo leveling, but I can't find it on. I assume it's on Netflix, but I can't find it. Maybe it's because I'm on Europoor Netflix, unfortunately. Anyways, OG Star Wars is OP. Yeah, the funny thing is, man, when the prequels came out, like, people hated on them a lot, but now after the postquels or the sequels, people look at the prequels as like, they were actually kind of good. It's how I feel about after watching Rings of Power and then watching The Hobbit. I'm like, The Hobbit was actually very good. Grandpa says, just wondered, are you in the same apartment? I used to like the view out of your window. I don't think I've ever shown the view out of this on a what's it called, on a stream. I think you're talking about the Dubai apartment. No, we haven't been there for a while, actually. You can find solo leveling in Crunchyroll. What is Crunchyroll? Is that a streaming service? What the fuck are these kids coming up with next? What it must be, I'm guessing it's a streaming service or something. Gwinto says, Crown, can you check out AVAX 12-hour and daily? I'm short at 22.5, thinking to hold on until $16. It's a hell of a trade. Let's see. Let's see. So you're basically targeting the April lows. I mean, I think you're angled in the right direction here, and I think that you're going to test somewhere close there. Yeah, I think that's fine, man. You know, with weekly momentum turning down on what is effectively your next lower high, looking for a retest of that last prior low, I think is very reasonable. I think it actually has a realistic chance to break even lower than that towards its 2023 lows, but you know, of course, you've had a great trade here, so I think, you know, take some profits, obviously. You know, of course, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But yeah, I think, honestly, it's probably going to go lower than 16, but that's just me. Crunchyroll has been streaming anime for like 20 years. Okay. All right. I didn't know. I'm just new into the anime game, man. I don't know nothing about this. I used to think it was gay.
Hey, bro, don't you know?
Hey, bro, don't you know? I don't actually. I don't know. So that's why I ask. But yeah. This is my first time. That's my first time hearing of it. Mr. Van Duysen wants to look at syrup. Sure, ma'am. Yeah, I remember this one looked like different recently, but let's see if it. Oh no, it still looks different here. You always have these altcoins that are genuinely doing something different than most of the rest of the market. But it makes me skeptical when I see something like this, and the rest of the market is looking a certain type of way. This is, to be fair, a version of a rising channel or rising wedge right here. So this one, more likely to break out to the downside, but not official until you trade and close below yesterday's low. If that happens, then yeah, I think that this thing's going to come back down to 40 cents, maybe 35 to 40 cents. Try for a bounce there, come back to it after that. But if I had to call it, I actually do think it's going to come down here, to be honest. But yeah. Welcome to the anime game. Dude, I love it, man. I feel like I missed out so much by thinking wrong things about it. I had wrong thought. But yeah, I didn't discover it until my mid-30s. Probably. Although, no, I should say in college, on Sunday mornings, after a very long nights out, we would, all of the guys in our house would watch Dragon Ball Z. It was very, very fun. Eat cereal as well. Be like real fucking adult kids. It was great, man. Have you done Ethereum already? No, I haven't, but we can look at it. It seems like there's just such a lack of interest in Ethereum overall. But to be fair, Ethereum, to be fair to Ethereum, it still does have a chance for a higher low here. So my position on Ethereum has been Hopium exists as long as you're above Friday, the 6th of June's low. That is 23.85 on a closing basis. This one would still have a higher low right here as well. So, I think that it does have a chance. And the more that it trades sideways here without breaking down, it will be a bullish reset. But then when I go to the higher term time frames, like, yeah, 2,900 is the area to beat to the upside. Price action pivots, I would agree with that one. But I don't know, man. Just, I guess because I've been in this market for so long now, it's hard for me to look at Ethereum as just another shitcoin. But in this cycle, it is acting like just another shitcoin, to be fair. But my personal opinion is like, I have such a hard time not seeing it at least get back up to, mid to deep 3,000s. But yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest strugglers out of the big caps that's been around for more than one cycle. That much is obvious. So still quite early here. So maybe I should, again, I'm not calling it just yet, but hey, below again, that 6th of June low, that's where I have no problem getting bearish on something like this. No, still seems unlikely to me, but charts are charts. King Sock says Tau on the daily. Thanks, man. Actually, the hair that I have right now is all or most of it's gonna fall out. Because the way, I should also explain the way that the hair transplants work is that they transplant everything in, and then it actually falls out about a few weeks to a month later, and then it takes actually about 3 months for the hairs to even start to minimally grow back, and it takes about a year to see the full results. So it takes a lot of patience, to be honest. Much of which I do not have. But I'm trying to cultivate it as I transition into a long-term investor. I'm trying to cultivate patience. Doesn't always work out. Yeah, again, bad here, man. This weekly just looks like another weekly lower high at the exact area that you would not want to see it happen at, which was the last price action pivot from the February of 2025 highs. It took some time to roll over, but it is rolling over. Momentum's turning down simultaneously. When I see something like this, I'm always going to bet in that same direction. So if I had to bet, I think that this one's more likely to come back down below $300 than move back above $500 or whatever this high from May was. So yeah, if I go down to a daily time frame, switching into a full-on bearish posture on all major moving averages. There can still be rallies here, of course, but I'd just be looking for lower highs on the rallies. Even on the daily, very, very bearish as long as you're below last Tuesday's high. So, yeah. We have another genius, Mr. Peckham. I've seen you many times, sir. Probably, yes. Everything in markets is probabilistic. You fucking idiot. You fucking moron. Like, holy shit, how many times do I have to see you have just terrible redacted takes? My blood pressure is getting way too high. All right. We shall move on then. I shall move on with my life. Crypto Clown World says, only thing I'm buying tonight is Fart Book? Fart Book? All right, I'm gonna try it. Do you mean fart coin or do you actually mean fart book? Because I can't find fart book. But I'm sure I found fart boy. Fart boy is real. And fart box. It's bullish as fuck. Look at that. Go probably up your asshole, buddy. Yeah. Philson wants to look at GME. Yeah, let's look at GameStop. I haven't looked at this thing in feels like a very long time. Let's go on Nicey. Let's go to the holy shit fuck. Wow. Again, rejected at probably the worst area for BULAs here. Just this area right here has been your range highs for what, over a year? Yeah, over a year now. Wow. Chart has won many times, I guess, but you only need one line to the upside on the weekly, and it's right there. And to the downside, not so sure, to be honest, but you know, does it bounce again towards 25, 26 bucks? Maybe not. I don't know. But downside again is probably more likely here. And there you go. There's your probably for the day, mustard fuckface. Below April lows, that's where this one really does morph into a very nasty downtrend. Until then, you know, I guess there's a little bit of hope for hopium here, but switching into a much more likely to break to the downside, especially with the monthly looking like this. And, you know, we're getting quite close to the end of the month now. So if it does break below, I'd be looking somewhere around like 12, 13 bucks, somewhere around there. Let's see what else we got. Fucking by the crypto. I don't see. Oh, you posted it. Okay. Solana. Yeah, we can do Solana. Where's my Solana? There it is. 145. Down, man. Down. Very bearish as long as you're below Monday's high. And very likely coming back down to Friday's low. So low 140s. If you see the 5-day close below 140, I mean, I think it's going to break down anyways, but you know, something close to these LARP lines. Again, I don't think it's going to break the April lows, but maybe get close down around there, like 120 to 130-ish region overall. It's going to take some time naturally, but should bounce there. If it is going to be bullish, then I'd be expecting like a real reversal there. So yeah, looking at the monthly though, you know, I have the same rule on Solana that I did on Ethereum for the past year, which is as long as the monthly stochastic oscillator is positioned to the downside, don't be bullish for any sort of like mega major, you know, try to the upside. You know, this thing, I really do think it wants to come down, man. There will be stops along the way, obviously, but if you want to clean and easy rule, as long as you're below Monday's high, man, it's this one wants to go down, much more likely to go to the downside. What about Cardurpio for Ben's chair? We can look at Cardurpio. I assume it probably looks something similar to Solana, and well, they both look like they want to go down. This one, yeah, again, I do think that is coming back down to this price action pivot. The same low that we saw from April and also February of this year, maybe around 50-ish cents or so. I mean, it's quite closer already, but what's another 15, 20%? You know, technically this would be a descending triangle. I don't know if it's actually going to play out like that, but if it does and it actually breaks to the downside, you see like a weekly closure below 50 cents, this thing's going to undo the whole rally and come back down to November of last year's lows, but give it a chance to bounce first. I mean, yeah. Again, above last Wednesday's high, that's where I get bullish, but until then, all good. This is a Wendy's. It could be a Wendy's. J Toom says, so basically GameStop could go up or down. Got it. Another fucking moron. Holy shit. Holy shit. Some people are just not made out for this channel. If you want someone to tell you...
It's only for winners.
You could say that, but goddamn, Kalechi Udala says, how's Finnish food? Reckon it's better than British food? Finland's not really known for its food. Maybe better than British, but the bar is very low, I think. They eat like Germans, are still flying overhead. What is it? Like the traditional English breakfast looks so fucking bad. Look, I say this as someone who likes England, you know, like I like the English people. My father was born in England, but what is it? Traditional English breakfast, like the shit with fucking, you get pieces of beans, like beans for breakfast. That's gross as fuck. Disgusting. Like, who thought of that? Very bad. Very, very bad. The King was a decent movie. Oh, is that the medieval one? If it is, I will like it no matter what. Probably, probably. There you go. Crown, they probably had a bad trade. Well, that's the thing, man. You know, a lot of people just want you to tell them like exactly what's going to happen. The problem is, I don't fucking know. No one fucking knows. Literally no one. Literally no one. But you can come up with probabilities. And for that, you will have to deal with a world that does not have 100% certainties. It is not black and white. You fucking unthinking moron. Are you 5? Holy shit. Hey, a fry up is not to be effed with, bro. Is that what it's called? I don't actually know what it's called. The bean part is really gross though, man. It really does gross me out. I don't like beans. Can you do near on the 4-hour and daily? Sure, man. I believe this was a 2021 shitcoin, right? Yeah, it was. I remember this one. So surely it's doing great right now. And yeah, this is about the chart that you can expect from most of these great cryptocurrencies. 4-hour time frame. I mean, it's a downtrend, obviously. Could it get a bounce up to 228 first? Maybe, but still, that it remains in a downtrend as long as you're below this past Monday's high, which was 238.5. So just betting on downside as long as it's not above there. Probably a little bit more likely to come down below $2 or close to $2 than anything else. And if it does get another breakout pump, which every once in a while it does, I think that you're going to be arrested. I think you're going to be arrested. I think that its price action will be arrested, you know, on yet another lower high below $3. Yeah, just another great project from 2021 doing amazing things in the future because technology is really good. Jeremy Brown says, our baked beans are different from the US versions. I've never met a baked bean that I like, to be honest, ma'am. They are a must for a fry up. So that's what it's called, a fry up. All right. But nothing beats a British brekkie. It's literally the best. Well, I think with my sort of level of food intolerances, it's probably not the best for me, but it's just a probably, bro. I don't know. I actually have had one in the past that I did like, but I don't know about the beans part. Freddie M says IREN stock in the monthly. Nice. Look at some stonks. This thing, huh? I don't think I know this thing. Much different than most of the cryptos we've seen today. This one actually has an uptrend, but in the short term, do I think it corrects here a little bit? Yeah. Maybe back down to like 935 or so. Should try for a short-term bounce there. But that's just short-term. Weekly does look like it might retrace a little bit lower than that, but that's again okay. You still have the potential for you know, a higher low as long as you're above about $7.50. But kind of being thrown off by this one. What time frames were you looking at? Oh, the question is, can it go back to 30? Oh, back to 30? No, dude, no, absolutely not. Like, what the fuck? It's gonna make a new all-time high from here. It's not my first target. That's for sure. That's absolutely for sure. Here's where I would say that target becomes reasonable. That target becomes reasonable if and when you start to see weekly dildos closing above 13. Okay, Jesus Christ, that can't be right. Let's make that like $15.50. Basically your highs from December of 2024. If you see that, okay, sure, this thing's gonna have free reign at least to $20. I think from there, yeah, you probably do, or at least $30 becomes very, very reasonable. It's going to be a long-term move, but if I had to call it right here, I don't think so. Maybe you have insider information on something like this. If you do, then analysis doesn't really matter, but I'm assuming that you probably don't. In such cases, I would say I wouldn't be betting. That would not be my first target, and I probably would not be betting on $30 from here. So yeah. Where is Jeff Grau? Holy shit, man. I haven't seen him in a long time. There he is. British bakes beans are the shitcoins of foods. Spoken like a true American. It's been a long time, man. Hope all is well, dude. Baked beans with burgers and mac and... Oh, God. Burgers and mac and cheese. Mac and cheese has got to be the grossest thing known to mankind. It really is. Like, why are we... Americans are obsessed with combining carbohydrates and cheese, and it is the best combination to put... to make your triglycerides go to the fucking moon. And by triglycerides, I mean fat. Pizza says, can you look at XRP? Sure. XR XRPUSD. Yes, there we go. Okay, got it. again, it's a downtrend, man. I think your next move is to the downside. 210 is your lower boundary here, either closing below there or just wicking below 208. And I would say that this one has been resolved to the downside. And I've been saying this for a while now. I still think that this one's coming down to about 180-ish, give or take 5 cents from that number. But all major moving averages are now in a bearish posture. Got a silver cross to the downside. The 5 EMA is leading, and the 200 SMA is overhead rejecting. Like, yeah. Does it break down this month, though? That's a real question, because the monthly doesn't really look to me like it wants to do that, but we'll see. Calamity says, Sir Crown, SUI 4-hour daily. Thoughts on hype? Nah. If desire, well, not really, but actually, we could look at hype just because it has been one of the biggest movers. SUI, like I've been saying for a long time, I think that this one, again, topped out. We were calling a top on this one in January of 2025. I got a lot of hate for that, and I think that's going to be the right call. It's morphing into what seems to be a massive descending triangle. There's going to be bounces along the way. Perhaps maybe one more attempt at 266, but this thing wants to break down, man. This is not good. It's not good. Monthly closing anything below $3. Any monthly close below $3, and I think you're going to see this thing come all the way down to like 2.25 at some point, maybe in July, maybe in August. Who knows how long it takes? But yeah, I'd be looking somewhere down around there. I mean, what do we have? We have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high. We don't have a lower low just yet, so we don't have a reversal, but it's potential. So have to be careful with shit like that. Crypto Clown World says, Crown, I'm 47 and all my numbers, all my numbers are really good for my age because I fast daily and exercise. I can eat pretty much whatever I want. It does seem like that does really help, to be fair. Like, look, I'm just making flippant comments on the internet, man. I'm not saying I'm an authority in diet and whatnot. At the end of the day, man, from what I understand from like actual fitness and all of this, you can actually undo the effects of a pretty bad diet by, one, just not overeating, and two, being active, like being actually active, not like bullshit boomer activity. I'm talking about like high intensity interval training. That sort of shit will let you get away with a lot. At least that's what I understand. Hype, we could look at hype really quickly. I'm pretty sure I have it on my list. It is starting to look like a bit of a blow off top here. And to be fair, the price action pivots are marking this off as what would be a rising wedge, which has already actually broken to the downside. So this implied target would be 34. Yeah, $34. Probably tries to bounce somewhere between 32 to 34 region. Crown, do you have a dream car? I actually don't, man. I've never really been too much into cars, but when I go to America, I'll need to get a car. So I'm thinking I want to get an American muscle car, to look cool. Like a massive Bumblebee car or some shit like that. But I don't know shit about cars. Some G says, hey man, Tesla on the weekly. Speaking of cars, Tesla, I have ridden in these. These are actually pretty cool cars, but the stonk, what do we think? Let's look at the quarterly. I have to remember the quarterlies are all closing at the end of this month. Look, if the quarterly closes above, especially $300, I think that this thing is just generally going to be bullish into the end of the year. If the quarterly closes below at the end of this month, $300, or let's call it $290 if you want to be super exact, something weird's about to happen. Something weird. But until then, weeklies above all major moving averages. I think you're actually a little bit more likely to try to the upside than anything else in the short term. Then again, I go down to the daily and I'm like, maybe not. Maybe the daily wants to come back down to 280. This one's honestly quite difficult for me. I should probably just say I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a strong read on this one right now. I would only be looking at the quarterly. Let's see. Joey Burton says SPX 4-hour and daily. Believe in some. Oh, you mean SPX 6900? Yeah. So I was proven wrong. Well, no, I haven't been proven wrong on this one just yet. But oh yeah, I think I'm not going to get proven wrong on this one. But before, to be fair, I was looking for a rejection or a reversal at 120. That did not. I mean, it did happen, but not the reversal I was looking for. I think that you are going to get a real reversal here. Just to shoot you 100% straight. It's going to take a few weeks, very likely, but at this point, with the way that this weekly is shaping up, if you see any trade at all below this week's low at 124.5, that would be my signal that this thing's going to come down significantly. Next target would be $1, even almost. Below, I mean, below there, it just, you know, just comes further and further south towards 80 cents, I suspect. Toyota Prius is bitchin', bro. Yeah, I mean, I hear that from typically Democratic men. White boy summer. Nice. No, I'm just kidding, man. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know nothing about cars. Crown, get the new Corvette ZR1X. What even? I'm gonna look that up right now. Let's do some research on stream here. Should I even be getting a car? Like, do I even really need one? Yes, like a good American, need a car. All right, let's see what this piece of machinery. Whoa, that was cool. Damn. Maybe. Who makes this one? Chevy? Yeah. Looks dope. I like it. Crypto Clown World says, really liking hype right now. I'm looking at 50 to 60 bucks. Fair enough. That's why we have markets, so we can disagree. I disagree. ZR1X is 1200 horsepower. What the fuck? Ford Bronco? What's a Ford Bronco? Hey, god damn it. Let's see. I don't know about this one, man. Don't know about this one. I actually do kind of want a truck. I think a truck would be kind of fun. But I'm not sure about that one. The G-Wagon. G-Wagon could be cool. I do like Mercedes. OJ Simpson was in a Ford Bronco. Really? Fair enough. Good old Nazi car. Yeah, I mean, Mercedes did make cars for the Nazis, but they make very good cars. Hugo Boss, they make very good uniforms. Who can argue with that? Also, Elsa adds also bags. Also bags. Edgar Huazar says Rune 4 hours. Oh, baby, I can't promise I have anything nice at all to say about this. But let's see. We have a downtrend, sir. If this one does want to try some upside, I'll just be looking for rallies to be stopped anywhere between 150 to 152. Down is a direction, my good man. Yeah. At some point, I think it's more likely to get close to those April lows than anything else. This thing is following the 2021 shitcoin of Destiny chart. Boom, big move up, followed by another try. Everyone gets very excited here, but with visions of the past, but unfortunately, they do not exist, and down is a direction. Like, that's the thing with all these shitcoin charts. It's like, it's very easy to bet downside. It's just, when do you get that next major pump that inevitably forms the next lower high? Do we get another one from here? I don't know. I think it's less likely. If it does happen, maybe you get like, I don't know, $3.5, $4, but down is a direction. This thing is on a long-term trend towards zero. We already looked at AVAX a little bit earlier. It was looking bad as always. Good morning. Hey, good morning, Nikki Page. You should buy a Mini from Peckham. Oh, great comments indeed, sir. Yes, I got a Mini Cooper, and what's another amazing car that I could get alongside that? A Bug? I don't know. Are those even still a thing? I don't fucking know. God, Gen X Crypto making some just absolutely terrible jokes. Could you check DYDX? Yeah, actually, I haven't heard this one called out, and it's got to be over a year. So let's see. I can't imagine. Oh, what do you know? Another 2021 shitcoin chart. Big move up, followed by only down. Another try in 2024, but only down because it's an altcoin and because altcoins like to go down. But they don't go down on you. They go down on your profits, unfortunately. Same thing here as all the other ones. Look, if it gets another pump out of nowhere, maybe get 150, but down is a direction. It only gets lower highs. It only gets lower highs. Like, this is what I do not understand is so difficult for shitcoin aficionados who are holding prior cycle shitcoins to understand. 99.9999% of prior cycle shitcoins will only go down over a long period of time. They get one-off pumps here and there, yes, but the returns to former glories of past cycles is so unprobabilistically likely that you'd be better off going to Vegas. You'd be better off playing the lottery. You'd be better off trying to get hit by lightning. I mean, and the reason why I'm taking a little bit more of a rude and perhaps aggressive stance against these things, because I've read so many stories now of people this cycle who are still holding on to prior cycle shitcoins, and their lives are literally, I mean, maybe their lives aren't ruined, but their financial lives are massively impacted. I'll put it that way. And it's just sad, man. It's just sad. Yeah, we already looked at hype. I think hype is probably topped with bounces along the way, but yeah. Can you look at white? Okay. I can't say I've seen this one. White rock. Okay. Oh, white rock and black rock. That's a very clever meme. If that's not a parabolic blow off top, I don't know what is. I think you probably even bounce around here, to be honest, but I don't think you're going back into one of these crazy uptrends. So yeah. Yeah, that looks like a blow off top to me, sir. Let's measure it out. This one went vertical 520%, followed by a 75% drawdown. Don't think it's done yet. Being as the Mini is as British as you get, a lifetime. I thought Aston Martin or Jaguar would be more British, right? Isn't that like the British car of choice? Those are pretty cool. They're very, very nice cars. Yeah, man, I did feel like Sloth from the Goonies. I really did, Calamity. It not only does your face puff up, but like my eyes, I couldn't. There was a good half day, a good half of a day where I actually really couldn't see anything. Honestly, my face was so puffed up. It's crazy. Elsa asked me, "Did I like it?" Yeah, it was great. It's amazing. Just reminds me, I need to eat my finasteride so my hair doesn't fall out again. Get another one of these fucking procedures. Fucking By the Dip wants to look at Link. Of course, we shall look at Link. Fucking By the Dip is an OG of OGs at this point. So price action pivots is marking this one off as a falling channel. So it is a downtrend, but at some point will break out to the upside. I kind of had the same idea on this one as I do on a lot of the ones that are similar to it, like Dogecoin and shit like that. I think that you're going to come close to those April lows, but I don't think you're going to go lower. I think that you get another bounce, honestly. But in the short term, can't really be looking for any sort of reversal as long as you're below last Wednesday's high, and that's all the way at $15.50. So that's a pretty big move from where it's at right now. I think it's more likely to do something like this. Come down here, then get a bounce, then get a breakout, then maybe it gets a move, something like that. We'll see. Edgar Huzar has a very common question, but it's actually a pretty simple answer. Regarding the last video of the 5-day 5 EMA strategy, how would you change it to work on shorts? You wouldn't. You'd make a completely new strategy, man. You can't just like flip around entry and exit conditions from a long strategy to do a short strategy. It doesn't work like it just doesn't work like that. You need to construct a whole new strategy. Kayla Lucky says in all capitals, "Can you look into Link?" No, I haven't. Let me do it. No, yeah, we're not going to look at Link again because we literally just looked at it right now, and that's rude to use all capitals. Stop doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's fucking annoying. Okay, I get that you're a girl and you've been treated with kitty gloves this whole time, but it's fucking annoying. For fuck's sake, god damn, shut up. Kidding. Okay, I'm joking. All right, it's a very bad attempt at humor. Okay. But seriously, it is annoying. I mean, that part I'm not joking about. That's fucking annoying. Like, don't do it. It's annoying. It's fucking annoying. KingNet, yeah, you're right. It is very, very young, so can't really be putting much emphasis on a daily here. 4-hour time frame. Again, I think it's likely to come a little bit lower in the short term and then bounce maybe from 7.5 tenths of a cent, somewhere down around here. But to be honest, man, this thing's way too new for me to do any sort of real analysis on. I have no idea what the hell is happening with this. It's just as much likely to get one of these pumps out of nowhere as it is to just dump to fucking Hades from right here. But yeah, if I had to call it, that would be it. I think at some point you got to bounce towards 9.25 tenths of a cent. But other than that, I really don't know. It's way too new. Joey Burden's looking at Pendle 4-hour and daily. This one I know has much more history, so this should be more interesting. Let's start high, then we go low, and weekly lower high right at the most recent price action pivot, which is also an extension of the last one. So I do look at that as very likely a lower and local high, and probably momentum is turning down here. Let's just double check on this one. Yeah, so you're seeing weekly stochastic momentum freshly turned to the downside below 453. It's nowhere fucking near 453. I don't know if it happens this week or next week or the week after that, but very likely to the downside. I think that this thing's more likely to come to 2.5-ish. Maybe it tries for a higher low there. Monthly is not terrible though, so I guess there is some hopium. Maybe there is some hopium here. Where would I get bullish on it? That's the real question. Bullish, I would get massively bullish on it above 455, last Tuesday's high. That's where I'd flip around on something like this. But until then, I kind of have to favor downside here a little bit. All good fucking buy the dip. All good, man. Crypto Clown World says, Crown, since you were so angry at the 4-hour earlier, can you look at the 8-hour for Bitcoin? I can. I actually don't even have the 8-hour on my general list. I do have a 6-hour because I find that time frame works better. But we can look at an 8-hour. I need to go over to this screen here, and yeah, I'm not getting nothing from this chart that's giving me any sort of unique information. Yeah, I don't have anything to add on this one. If anything, the 6-hour is showing the relevancy of 104 with the 200 simple coming in there. It's just really failed to actually open and close below there and put in a real break. 4-hour time frame. I mean, is this a lower high? Looks like it is constructing a lower high, but like I said, I don't think that you're going to be getting big moves today. It's an off day for traditional markets. Tomorrow maybe, but I think more likely if we're going to see any move, it's going to be next week. Alex says, Crown, when you have time, could you go over DOT? Very nice way of asking. Yeah, let's look at DOT. Another 2021 shitcoin, so I'm sure it's doing amazing. It's almost as if we've seen this chart before a million fucking times. Sorry, man. I'm not doing this at your expense. It's just whenever I see a 2021 shitcoin, it's like they literally do all look the same because they're fucking lazy. They're good for nothing. They took all of our jobs and fuck them. Look, this thing wants to come down, man. If it gets a bounce, it's just going to be that another bounce in a series of lower highs. This is very, very, very bad. It's already quite close to the April lows where most things are still a little bit further away. I think that you will officially test somewhere down around there, probably bounce again and then break lower. This is bad. This is very bad. Very ugly, bad. Mr. Van Doysen says, wow, looks very good. Short MicroStrategy says Clay Budney. Well, it's not trading today, so you literally cannot, but let's see. I mean, if Bitcoin has any downside, this thing should, well, overperform to the downside. If I'm looking at the daily, price action pivots has marked this one off as a rising channel, and it actually has already broken as of yesterday's closure. So technically, there is an implied target lower already. That would be somewhere around 350-ish, 345 to 350, something like that. See if it plays out. That would also reconnect with the monthly 5 EMA. 345. So I think that you will reconnect with that actually this month, most likely. Deport all 2021 shitcoins. That's right. Got to get them out of here. We don't know who they are. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. These shitcoins, they're really doing something special. Can you look at Coinbase stock? Actually, yes, man. One of the few stonks that I do hold, and a really nice move here towards $300. And this is, I think this one's still bullish, man. This one is even breaking the weekly price action pivot most recent high. So I think that this thing is getting ready for a retest of your December 2024 highs. And the quarterly, I mean, I think it's just generally going to move up throughout the rest of, or at least the next quarter until September. Quarterly is going to have a chance, like a real chance to put in a bullish engulfing dildo here. Would need to obviously close the month out above 310, but it ain't so far away at this point. So I'm bullish on this thing as long as you're above 277, assuming that the weekly does finish above there. We still have tomorrow to trade. So I guess, crazier things can happen, but yeah. What would be your first game? My first game? I think my first game that I ever played was Halo. No, we played N64 and what game? Probably GoldenEye, I think. Something like that. Irvin says, Crown, can you check out LDO? Is this a Lido token? No, this is something else. I don't know what this is. Oh, no, it is Lido. Yeah. Okay. I thought so. Doesn't really do anything. I'm not saying that the coin doesn't do anything. I'm saying that the chart doesn't really do anything. If I had to call it, it's going to be down, but this thing could easily bounce up to like $1.50 and put another lower high and then move down. Doesn't really seem to do all that much. Crown, that's an inverse herp and derp on the coin. Let's see. I missed it. Okay, so you're looking at this as a left derp, head derp, and then right derp over here. Usually you want your left derp to kind of mirror your right derp in terms of like length. So this one is like double this one over here. So I would say probably not going to work out like that, but it doesn't make me not bullish. I would be bullish on this thing, especially if it can close out the week here or higher. That looks really good to me. Slappers mode on GoldenEye. Yeah, man. That was the first sort of co-op or multiplayer game experience, man. That was fucking good times. Really good times. What else do we have? Bro, lower your blood pressure. My bad. Thank you for the reminder. Looks like a cervix, kind of. It's a very bizarre looking chart. You should try Expedition 33. I've heard really good things, actually. It's like Baldur's Gate. Well, that sounds like right up my alley. What other stonks do you like? So I'll actually show you my stonk list here. I mostly like to go, my biggest positions are actually in mostly defense ETFs. Not because I want everyone to die in war and all this stuff. Obviously war is bad, but look, at the end of the day, man, as in terms of investment, I like the idea for it because you always need defense. And the ones that I like to go big in are ITA. That's just like your general sort of defense stocks. Then SHLD, which is more defense technology. I like this one a lot as well. I have some singular names here like Palantir and Kratos and Red Cat. And then other than that, actually, you know what I have gone decently into is the MicroStrategy yielding stocks like Strafe, Strike, and Stride. All of these, you know, I do like the idea of that sort of fixed coupon. I've done a lot of research into it. It at the outset, it does seem rather risky, you know, because they are giving you like a 10% dividend, like, which is pretty fucking high, man. But they do over collateralize these things so much so that even if Bitcoin came down like 70%, they could still pay out dividends for, you know, decades actually. So we'll see, but yeah, those things I do go into just for income. I don't like MicroStrategy. I don't go into MicroStrategy. I fucking hate Misty. I think all the options yield max strategies are just, the results are terrible with them. They're absolutely terrible. Circle, I wish I got into, but I didn't, unfortunately. CEP, this one, very, very interesting to me. That's Howard Lutnick's son's company that's merging with Jack Mallers' company. What else? And then of course I own the major ETFs like Vanguard's Growth Fund, like VTI, which is basically SPY. And then what's the other one that I own? I own a lot of triple Qs. Yeah, triple Qs, just, you know, tech. Most of U.S. budget goes to defense contracts, even though U.S. in debt. Yeah, and also just most of the world as well. I mean, you need defense because, well, not everyone fucking agrees with each other. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's what these anti-war people don't understand, is that the world is in a constant state of competition, and every country, if given the chance, wants to be number one. If they could be, and so, if you do want to be anti-war and all that, that's great. But at the end of the day, you can be anti-war. And if Russia, for example, is pro-war, then they will take your bitch ass out for lunch. Discounts are only for the rich. I don't know what that means, but sure. Defense, real estate, finance is the way to go. Yeah. Real estate's not for me, but I totally understand the allure to it. I just feel like real estate requires the same amount of expertise and time that I've put into studying stocks and investing and trading. But that towards real estate, because it's its own whole game. And you know, it's you can't just walk in there and just be like, well, I had great success over here, I'm gonna be great at fucking real estate. It's like, no, you're gonna get I'm gonna get my ass kicked right off the bat. But yeah, you know, if you understand real estate, then you know, I totally understand the advantage of investing in that 100%. You know, you get so many tax breaks and tax advantages because, well, it's not because of any sort of conspiracy. It's because the government wants to promote home building. Crazy idea. Holy shit. And the way that they do it is through financial incentives. Holy shit. Oh my God. What a crazy idea. People are people, says Mr. Van Duysen. People are indeed people until you've met more people, in which point you realize not everyone is the same. We're all equal in value, all equal in under the eyes of the law, but not everyone's the fucking same, man. I'll tell you that. The real G squared says XMR on the daily. Please circle around. Sure, ma'am. XMR. I think we're going to wrap it up on this one. I'm starting to feel my my throat go a little bit. I need to move back into the swing of things with live streams. But yeah, XMR, really beautiful move here. Really, really good. However, beautiful moves do unfortunately end, and it looks to me like this one actually has ended. We do see the double derp of destiny on BBWP for the daily time frame, probably even on the weekly. No, weekly just has one, but momentum turning down here. This is a corrective time for XMR. I think this one comes down to like 280-ish region. Probably tries for a bounce there. Maybe that's going to be the next major low, but I'd be looking for at least somewhere down around there over the next month before assuming that a corrective period could be over. But I really look for BBWP to come down significantly before I say something like that. All right, last one for F in dollars. Hi, Karan, I recently purchased the Caretaker Suite. Would you mind helping me? What does the blue vertical stripes mean on HPDR? Let me bring up what you're talking about. These right here, like these blue. Yes, I did just do XMR. Pay attention for once in your life. Joking, okay. Anyways, if you're talking about these blue sort of backgrounds, it's just telling you when HPDRO is at the 0 read. So it's just a visual cue that, hey, it's at a 0 read, which is effectively no bias on directional momentum. It's a reset is what it is. It's a reset. Just like if BBWP was super, super low, it's firing off that same sort of indication. It's giving you, hey, things have reset here. Okay. Perhaps you have a play on, whichever way this one breaks. In this case, this one goes from up to down. Okay. Well, what happened then? Bitcoin comes down from 105 all the way to a low of 75. And over here, when it moved from down to up, Bitcoin goes all the way from 68,000 to a high of 108,000. So not bad. All right, Ben's chair. Got to run nurse's duties call. I wish you were my nurse, sir. And I think we'll end things on that note. It's been a pleasure getting back to the live streams with everyone here. Some maybe fun jokes were had, maybe some bad jokes on my behalf. If so, I apologize. Okay, I'm trying to keep my blood pressure low, and I've lost my filter. I think I've lost a little bit more of my filter. I apologize for it. It's not intended to be harmful or mean or anything like this. It's just intended to be entertainment for some financial magic internet money that we all love, and well, maybe not everyone loves, but you know what I mean. Anyways, we'll be signing off on that note. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully